At the dawn of humanity, as the earth began to discover the footsteps of its first inhabitants, a majestic silence fell, a silence that marked the start of your great story, O human. Abel was gone, and with him, the first pulse of righteousness vanished, leaving humanity to face, for the first time, the desolation of absence and a void that the winds of the earth could not fill. Adam, the father of humanity, sat in his seclusion, shrouded in the majesty of light, experiencing in his silence the waiting that dwells in the hearts of all who seek aid from the heavens. 300 years of patience were not just years, they were a school of certainty, teaching us that the soul remains connected to its Creator, no matter how the material world withers around it. Revelation ceased, and all creatures fell silent. The universe was in a state of purity and preparation, awaiting a divine gift to preserve the balance of guidance on this earth. In the corners of supplication, Eve was praying with unwavering certainty, silent prayers seeking the continuity of light, in the eternal lineage of humanity. Even nature was in a state of complete humility, realizing that the balance of the earth was awaiting a new era of divine guidance. Suddenly, as the night of waiting stretched long, the horizon of the sky split with a manifest radiance, a light piercing the darkness of sorrow, to announce a new dawn of divine kindness. Seth arrived, the gift of God to those who persevered, the boy who carried the secret of fatherhood and the light of prophecy to preserve the covenant. Here began the story of Seth, peace be upon him, the beacon of guidance, that preserved the niche of monotheism to reach after a night that lasted too long, and sorrow, that dwelt in the corners of hearts, for 300 years, relief came like a gentle dawn breeze, wiping away the tears of the grieving earth. Seth was born, and with his birth, the depths of the soul brightened. Adam named him Seth, the gift of God. This name is not like others, it is an eternal sermon for you, O human, reminding you that God never leaves his creation in wandering. Contemplate how divine giving always comes to mend what the fates of loss and absence have broken. Every void left by those who passed is filled by God with a new light. Look at this radiance emanating from the pure house of prophecy. It ignites an unquenchable hope in the soul, confirming that the chains of guidance are continuous. Here, and in every moment of birth, we learn that hope is not a mere illusion, but a sincere certainty that manifests in our reality when we trust in the wisdom of the Creator. Seth was not just a passing child in the crowd of years. He was the vessel of the responsible covenant, and the carrier of the great secret of vicegerency, for which Adam descended. His luminous features recalled the purity of beginnings, yet they held the majesty of a message that would span long centuries to keep the innate nature, Phaedra, pure. Every trial that tightens your chest is, in truth, the labor of an upcoming divine grant. Do not despair of the Spirit of God, for with hardship comes inevitable ease. Tranquility returned to the earth after long turmoil. A new era of purity and serenity began, where the mercies of heaven embraced the sincere devotion of the worlds. Seth was not merely a successor to Adam on earth, he was a sacred vessel for the divine wisdom and secrets entrusted to him by the Creator. Contemplate this moment, O human, when the gates of heaven opened to reveal the first scrolls, 50 scriptures descending, carrying the light of the divine method. Here began the era of the written word. Here, humanity learned that true guidance is not just a feeling, but a solemn covenant preserved in hearts and written upon pages. Oh, children of Adam, knowledge is a heavy trust. Seth was the first to bear this torch after Adam, teaching us that worship without knowledge is like a lamp without oil. How majestic were those moments, light descending, a heart receiving, and pens recording the constitution of life, a path that never misleads those who follow it. Reflect upon your true legacy. It is not gold, nor is it clay. It is the light of these very scrolls that define the boundaries of right and wrong at the dawn of history. Seth taught his people that connection with the Creator is an act of both knowledge and practice, shielding our pure nature with a fortress of divine understanding. Indeed, every sacred letter we read in God's books today has its roots in those first scrolls, received by this blessed prophet with a humble and submissive soul. For those seeking the truth, knowledge is the ship, and revelation is the sail. How beautiful it is to walk through life guided by a divine compass. Now, let us prepare to witness how Seth transformed this knowledge into a living civilization, and how he passed the eternal. The light of prophethood did not stop at the boundaries of the first settlement. The mission of Seth, peace be upon him, was one of expansion, spreading goodness to every corner darkened by ignorance. The wise prophet realized that knowledge, if confined, perishes. He chose his finest disciples, instilled in them the spirit of responsibility, and sent them as reformers to the ends of the earth. It was a true battle between a luminous order carried by the preachers and a blind chaos attempting to dominate the minds of the multiplying populace. 0. Contemplate how knowledge is planted. It is not mere words, but seeds of life that sprout trees of wisdom and integrity within the hearts of men. 0. As civilization expanded, social challenges emerged, and conflicts nearly ignited. Yet, the divine method was present to swiftly restore balance and harmony. 0. The scrolls served as the great, legislative umbrella, under which society took shelter from whim and injustice, ensuring no one oppressed another. 0. Seth stood like a mighty mountain, watching the horizons, ensuring that the flame of monotheism was kindled, wherever human feet had trodden. It is the shield of the method upon which the arrows of doubt and corruption shatter, keeping the believing community safe within its fold. 0. Thus, humanity lived through a golden era of righteousness and reform, under the leadership of a prophet whose primary concern was that only truth be worshipped on earth. But the journey of light is long, and the trust is heavy. The time had come to think of who would carry the banner after him. Await the moment of the great testament. 0. Follow us.